July! July ski. What the fuck is up, y'all? I feel so crazy because the last time I was on here, I was like... But that was really the frequency. That was really the frequency for a long time with the Cancer New Moon. I know that I've been like all over the place in a lot of places, like, whatever. But we are in July 2025. Can you feel the frequency? Happy Cancer season. Happy birthday to any fucking Cancer suns out there. I wish I was getting invited to way more Cancer birthday parties than I'm being currently, but that's okay. I'll still wait. We still got about a few, 2 weeks or so. So, let me know if you guys are doing anything Cancer season to celebrate your birthday. I love a birthday. Anyways, okay. Wow, what a fucking nut sack of fucking energy we've come through. What a fucking shit pinata that was. In the best way. I mean, I hope that you understood by June 30th exactly why the fuck I came on June 1 and was like, bitch, this shit's about to be a movie. A prophetic movie, because I think that, again, I felt like it would be so important to give people a heads up at an archetypal level about how much, like, what's happening for you right now. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to tell you, like, something is extreme or intense or whatever, but whatever's happening to you right now is happening in this period of our cosmology as a universe. It's a huge transition. It is truly the sort of separation like this. So planet Earth is quite literally, like, that's why May, June, April, bitch, all the fucking months. That's why they were like that, right? Because essentially when we talk about like the way that like DNA is structured, there's this there's planet Earth, but what just happened is like the separation of the world. So like the 5D version of Mother Gaia is like here, and that's where I'm at. I'm on the 5th dimension, but the 3rd dimension is still very much there. It kind of implodes on itself. It's just gonna stay there. So the next 6 months of the Gregorian calendar, how they set it up, like if you were to take that amount of time, but again, we're really, like I said, we're proper just popping off like second quarter of the year type shit. If you really follow the astrological like new year as like really when energy resets. So you're just gonna see that, especially with a lot of the retrograding periods that we're having coming up over the course of the next like several months, so much of this energy of like deep cleansing, because we talked about the shit you were initiating Gemini season, instant regret, immediately no, immediately hate that for myself, immediately what the fuck, immediately gonna regret that. So we're on that to get from Gemini to Sagittarius season, right? Like we're on that, like it's that time of the year where you're like getting wisdom for what you were fucking doing, and the allegedly under the Gregorian calendar, like allegedly for like what you were doing the first 6 months. So a lot of things. I mean, it's been so crazy, but I think the most important thing for me right now is it's like, I've never lied to you bitches, and everything is connected. Like, I swear to you, I know there were times where you're like watching my shit, it's like, I'm not going through what she's going through. I'm kind of just like, this is kind of just spectacle, right? Like, this is like a little black girl, like, scream crying or, whatever. And it is kind of just like at a, like, oh, she's just going through something you're super nuanced. But everything is connecting right now. I mean, the source of my wounding, the source of my success, the source of my, like, my self-concept, my spirituality, my health, my well-being, all of these things at this time are completely connected. And 2025 is not asking you to be spiritually ascended. It's not asking you to be the smartest bitch in the room. It is asking you to connect the dots of your life, to not be fragmented. No one is judging you. No one even cares about you. That's what Age of Aquarius says. So beyond you trying to project that the reason you don't connect dots, right, laziness, like the reason you're not connecting your dots in your life is because someone is judging you that you need to defend yourself from. The ego didn't just like have a death. It's shattered at this point. At this point, the collective ego is like decimated. So that it can be rewritten, it can be evolved even. We can decide if we even need fucking gills anymore, or if we want to adapt to having lungs that breathe air, right? Like we are at that point where we are crafting and narrating all of those things. I mean, it has just been the craziest, most beautiful summer and like time of my life in so many ways. And I just want you guys to understand that, like, I possess and own, like, all of my emotional sphere. Like, everything that's in my Aquarius vase is mine. So, I also am someone who is going to give you depth when it comes into, like, if I'm going to choose to explore a feeling, I'm going to really explore it, I'm a 12th house moon, okay? I'm a psychic crazy motherfucker. But I'm also just, like, my depth is, like, the bottom of the ocean floor. Like, what I feel is, like, really connected to the deepest root. So at this time, I want you to know, like, I am only able to have this much energy because at this point, it's just the long-term Saturnian benefits that actually make me feel better. Like, I think you can tell, because I'm still homeless. Still, like, also we're like out of food now. Like, we don't like even have fucking food to eat anymore. No drugs, no nothing. So we're like kind of at that place. We don't have clean water, stuff like that. But I digress about all that. So like when you're looking at me talk, or when you're like looking at like why I'm so positive, it literally is just because of those long-term things that the studio really wants to promote in you. Like I don't even push an exercise, mind you, girls. I naturally, like, my disposition genetically very athletic, but I'm not an athlete anymore. I don't do a lot of the things. I used to be drum corps, heavy drumline girly. That builds your body a certain way. I used to be heavy on the fucking volleyball tip. That's going to build you a certain way. I am not in my CrossFit era anymore. Like, that's been just like, I'm very much like miles and miles away from that. And even like when you think about like my makeup journey, like a lot of where I'm at right now in my life is about being fucking realistic about how long life is. And I really can't subscribe right now to like, when I think of short term or what you guys would call a shortcut, I just think about short term. It's like what you guys really mean, right? Because even to me, so many people want to be like holier than thou, but even like a really intense, like, let's say workout regimen, gym routine, like I said, I used to really do CrossFit, like a lot. And even that is unsustainable. Not because working and moving your body is a positive thing, but without like the proper like disposition of like the human species, like animals like aren't gonna like work out. They do natural movements that like keep them in a certain like the natural environment. Like nature should be the thing. So like I said, like my movement right now is like I don't even like my physique has gotten to where it has been just based off of 5 years of only walking long distance. Like just walking. I don't run. I don't even skip. I literally don't. Like you don't even come and ask me to fucking, but why is my shit fucking defined and sexy? Because it's all about consciousness. When you add consciousness to a certain repetitive movement that has to do with like the full wind, because the thing about walking is it's Homo sapien. It's like what we were designed to do. And so I felt like, when I was getting this download in 2020, it was like, it is kind of more about like returning back to the natural ways that like indigenous folks would like tend to the land. Like we weren't like doing, push-ups. Like people would be building infrastructure. They'd be like farming, and that's how they built their physique. So before we got into the matrix, before we got into this fucking whatever self-concept of like how to build yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, like a lot of the doing, I'm like I'm like, there's nothing to do. You need to be able to sit with yourself long periods of time. You need to be able to craft routines that actually support you to be conscious while you're doing them. Because one of the things that I would find was I used to be in club, I used to be in indoor, I used to be all these things. Like marching band in general is fucked up, especially in Texas. Okay, I'm wearing like a 75-pound drum under like 4 layers of like coat and costume, hat and everything. You're sweating like a motherfucker. Like I could lose like 15 pounds if I wasn't like eating 3,000 calories while doing that, okay? And you're memorizing and playing a drum and you're marching on a giant football field, like, right? These things require so much to build the specific result that you want. Which does also like includes like not passing out and like dying while you do this, because it's just like so hot and difficult to like do these things. So from that perspective, from someone that like really like, I really was like, I definitely had like an athletic like identity and upbringing. But I've transitioned from just like athleticism to like just well-being, like trying to find a way to get the results for like the physique that matches who I feel like my soul wants to be. And really like what I feel like that looks like is just freedom. Like for me, a lot of my motivations, and I guess this is what we're going into, it's like the open general downloads, like shit just like happened to me, whatever. But like, the open general download for me was like, when you're someone who like also, I mean, like I'm a black woman, like, right, queer black woman, like that's the issues with those intersections are I'm like at the bottom of the fucking barrel in terms of the way that the late stage capitalism shit's set up. So for me, my whole life, it was always more so just about like, man, I really wish I had the same freedom that like my white girl best friends get when it's time to like just go to the pool, and they're not insecure about like the ways that like their body is shaped, their curve, like, the way that they developed premature. Like there's all these things that like were really simple for me. Like, I really wanted to find like a hairstyle that was honest for me, that kind of meets like what I think is most important, which is just like protecting my crown. But I didn't have the language for that. That's why I went on my braider journey and like really got into like hand magic in terms of like working with the crown chakra. You know, so all of these things are things that like being around my energy, like I really like to surround myself. Like my husband is honestly like the motivation too. Like Capricorns are always my motivation because I'm such a Mother Earth ass bitch in my spirit. But like Capricorn stelliums are gonna like have this natural physique that I think is just so revolutionary because they have this like, if they're high vibrational, they can really help you like ground in a sense of like, I kind of just want more of a homeostasis. I kind of just want to be able to go somewhere or try on something in a fitting room and it not really like reverberate negativity in any way, which just means like I'm accountable. Like, right? Like anytime you have insecurity, you really just need to like take more accountability, I guess is the best way to say it. Anytime you're projecting insecurities on someone else, there's more accountability that you're not taking, you know? And so Cancer season, I love. I like the real essence of Cancer is like main character. Like if you want to see somebody who's supposed to be like seen, heard, felt, it's a Cancer sun. Absolutely. Big energy ass motherfuckers. Or any Cancer placement for that matter. So Cancer season, I just feel like the off the top downloads, I was talking about this issue because like right now the sun is having its way, isn't it? Like there's nothing worse than when you're like not ready for a summer. Another big motivation why I got started on this shit where it's like I can't, like I used to, oh shit, I'd be like super fucking sicky. This has been years from now, but I'd be like super sick every winter because my immune system's not ready. I ain't been doing shit, you know, and then every summer I'm getting dragged. It's just too fun. You're like, if you're out of alignment with the summer, the sun's gonna like piss you off in the summer, right? Versus like just being able to be there and then just get wet, you know what I mean? So I feel like Cancer season off the top downloads are just like all about those things where it's like, you know, one of the things I really want to push here is like, dude, find something that like, yes, it may not be, but when you lose weight or when you drop energy or when like the fascia finally melts and finally you're back to like not storing like literally just like genetic experiences, that could not have even come from you, right? Like some of the, like again, I say this with full disclosure. Okay, my dad had a massive stroke when I was in the 5th grade. Like St. David's Medical was like, this is like one of the worst recorded strokes like we've ever seen at the hospital. They had a police officer come pick me up from my school because they had a timer beside my dad's bedside when he got sent to the emergency room because he collapsed. Come on, titties, not today. And this man, I guess my dad was probably like mid-40s, right? And mid-40s, yeah? You should not be, no, titties. No, dude, you're gonna need to just, like, you're gonna choke yourself. You're gonna go to any of the other chairs. And we have 3 of them out. You got a mat, you got chairs, like, it's not while we're recording. Because, like, I'm doing this on the fucking lawn chair, dude. Like, it's crazy shit. It's crazy shit, dude. Anyways, my dad has a massive stroke at 40, okay? Couple things led to that situation. There's also, like, a big war on, like, African features. So like my nose, I've got my dad's, actually I have like really a blend of my mom and my dad's nose, but me and my brother like notably got like my dad's like very African like pug nose, like where it's like people think we don't have, like if you look at me dead on, it looks like I have no bridge, even though technically like I did get my mom's, like I have a very like whatever. So anyways, my dad, my brother and I, because we're of African descent, we inherited this very African feature that doesn't really do well in like what the globalized like United States has like become. And so my whole life, like my dad, my brother and I, we have the exact same like shitty, we used to have the same like shitty allergies, like when we were really like suffering under like late-stage, like all this shit, right? So my dad, his whole life has really struggled with his nasal passages just because of how like our like mucus will drain for us. It's also spiritual, but so one of the worst things is that my dad actually, he's like one of the people that like started this like that, like I don't know if it's the FDA, but after like my dad's stroke, there's like a whole like not lawsuit but a big like review of this product that doesn't really matter. I don't know if anybody knows what it is, but anyways, my dad used to be addicted to nasal spray, and my dad's stroke, believe it or not, was one of the, he used to be addicted to Afrin specifically. And I have so many memories of my dad when I was a kid where like he like after a while, because Afrin, like the thing about it is it's like one of the most like lethal like prescription drugs that you can take to like help with drainage. And then you're literally like the label's like you're supposed to use this like twice. You're not really supposed to. And my dad had developed an addiction to it because he like after a while he couldn't breathe without it. So like when I was a kid, like I remember being like at our house and my dad had just like because he like could not breathe without it. And so his abuse of Afrin, like his nasal spray, mixed with obviously like his health and well-being. And my dad was like a bodybuilder. The other thing about my dad is he was really on that frequency. But yeah, so all of that really led to like a lot of intensity on obviously the arteries, obviously his heart. You know, like I said, there's a lot of other qualms we can have with like the Black Southern like diet that was also like given to us by like massa, which includes all of these, you know, subgroups of ingredients that, you know, have created our consciousness to be a certain way over time, right? Like slave food and like what we get to eat and what fills up our stuff. Like soul food has like a lot of like hard origins for me, and you know it's always really difficult. Like one thing I love about like the international community, like one thing that I really hated as a child is like I feel like soul food is like not real. Like I like always just used to hate that. Like I'd go to my Mexican girl Slime's house and like, man, when it was time for like a torta or it was time for fucking taquitos, it was time for some fucking enchiladas. Like I loved that was like actually their like there was a cuisine. You get what I'm saying? Because when it comes to soul food, which is like, I guess just like triple backed giblet gravy with fucking mac and cheese and collard greens and gizzards, like that shit, like for me always felt like we couldn't actually eat this every day, which is the truth, right? Like that's why we're like cooking it at Christmas or cooking it at Thanksgiving, whatever. But like I always was like really, like I had one of my next door neighbors when I was growing up, they were Russian. Bitch, when they put me on the borscht in like second grade, bro, sheesh, like I was like, damn, we don't even have like a beet soup that we like fucking rip up with some fucking sour cream. Like they were just different cultures actually had like a cuisine, you know? And of course, if you go into like not the African diaspora, but if you're actually in the continent of Africa looking at the queen, there's absolutely, our diet is completely different. In fact, it's very aligned in my plant-based beliefs, like with my fucking plant-based shit. You know, my Ethiopian slimes will hold you down, my Nigerian slimes will fucking hold you down, whatever the fuck it is, right? So, all this to say, this happens to my father by his 40s. Okay, guess what that means for me, my brother, and my two other siblings that also belong to my father. We have this same exact shit. So a lot of the shit that you see me doing at 28 is because like my dad is the last person that people thought would have some sort of heart-related like situation. Mind you, if you don't know what a stroke is, it's the scariest fucking shit in the world. You basically go vegetative in half of your body. It's definitely a spiritual attack. It's definitely freaky. He's on the phone with my grandmother, drops to the fucking floor, loses the entire feeling in his left body, and is like, and your brain is done. And yeah, it's like not even really possible to recover from for most people. Like, you know, so a lot of scorpionic shit going on there. So anyways, I'm bringing all this in to say, a lot of my motivations long term where that was a trauma I deep throated that trauma at like 4th grade, 5th grade, I was like 9, 10 or something, right? And I just remember they were like, okay, your dad has like 35 minutes to live. So they had to get me, my brother, and my mom, and like our grandmother, and like his church was there. They had to like push us up. And so I'm like literally watching my dad die. And so when you have that memory, I remember being like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go to school and my father won't be living anymore. So I don't know like what to think about that. And that's where I was at, right? And obviously this nigga's still alive today. We worked our magic. We got it done. But all of this to say, it does not mean that it didn't require a complete evolution and a complete change in the diet. For example, like, you know, my family's heavy on the libations. We're heavy-handed on the liquor. We use it for fucking magic. We do. But for my dad, like, he had to do kind of the same thing where it was like, my dad is the type of nigga you get around him and he's like, you're like, Dad, I have a cold. He's like, a glass of red wine will do that for you. Like, you're like, Dad, I have a stomach ache. He's like, you know, red wine is really good for you. It's like really good for you. Like, he's like that kind of guy. So he's like drinking a glass of red Merlot every day. Like, me and my dad are Merlot girls because that's like what we like bond over. It's like, yeah, right? So there were just like all of these like little changes to be able to like continue to live a life that aligns with like the desires you have at a human level because you're only human, but also like actually accounts for like, you know what, I'm not gonna be like ignorant to this though, because I did have a parent which like, so like, and you know, they say this with Black people, like if you had a parent that suffered from like high blood pressure, which I do, I had fibroid tumors, high blood pressure, all of these things, like I'm like a fucking proper 12-year-old and shit, you know. My period was insane, bro. I was clearing a lot of shit out of my cycle for years, bro. You know, I couldn't do the I couldn't do like ingested birth control. I just do the fucking proper thing with the fucking smart fucking thing. Anyways, so even birth control was like, there were so many things that were at an energetic level inherited. So, you know, but also when you're going through life, you think everything's your fault. You think you're big because you're just a stupid person who makes bad choices. Or you think you're ugly just because that's just like something you do. It's just like you being ugly. But a lot of shit is inherited. A lot of shit is karmically inherited as well. Meaning it doesn't even have to just come from your mom or your dad or your grandparents or your aunts, uncle. It's like stuff that you created in past lives that you now have to, like, you've incarnated and aligned with a body and a vessel that will help you evolve what you were looping on in a past life. So, Cancer season, all of this is happening. All of this connectedness is not going to get any less in your face. All of this is going to still be exactly what I preach all the time, which is like, you know, there's nothing to parse off. It's not going to work at this time to try to do like somebody's warring me. No one's warring you. At this point, it's going to be very obvious if you walk up to something and just start some fucking shit because you're addicted to drama. Or again, you are in this cognitive dissonance hellscapes, because I feel like July 1st is the first time that the planet is in two, meaning the fifth dimension planet is here, the new earth is here, but third dimension is also here. And this is new because, you know, there are a lot of frequencies that are trying to play intermediary or could be giving you a lot of like confirmation in a really amazing way. So I think that's another huge download that I have. I guess the best way that I can articulate it is like, if you're in the fifth dimension right now, which you would know, because you would have just had to come through this crazy ass release process that was just like long term, like releasing big things, like relationships, dynamics, understandings, community, like just over time, like really releasing a lot, to where you are right now is like, I don't know if I've ever been in this place in my life particularly, but I'm here. So that's how you know you'd be in the fifth dimension, especially like if you're on my channel, you're definitely like, you're locked in. But you know, I feel like, sorry, like stretching my hip bone. We went a little crazy with the mileage yesterday. Anyways, but so yeah, it's like Cancer season is also really important, because now the communication will always be like just needing to be able to discern like when we are like being interfered with someone who's like in a different world paradigm. And it's easy to do. It's like easy to dismiss. All you really have to do at this time is just to make sure to ask people to like leave you alone. Like if something is aligning to you, we're not in the fucking hellscape of the third dimension where we have to be like, they can abuse, like, you attracted me, you called me here. No, I didn't. I actually didn't. I can hold your information. I can respond, but I'm also going to ask you, like, it doesn't seem like you're trying to like it doesn't seem like you want to be talking to me. It seems like you're just using me. And again, I'm just not going to let that fly this time, because that's actually what my trigger was the last 3 years, where it was like everyone closest to me, like in my life that I love so much, would use my emotional intelligence to like allow themselves to like project onto me. So like I would be getting in trouble for like wounds that I didn't cause people, you know? I would be getting in trouble for like shit that I wasn't doing to bitches, you know what I mean? And I feel so excited, because I just feel like right before I was recording this, I just felt this need. Sorry, like someone's calling me. So also, if you're calling me, like, dude, just shoot me a text too. Like, just let me know, because like I'm usually like doing a lot of like work off of this phone too. So like I just keep getting calls. So if you are also someone like, again, I've had a lot of people reaching out. Like if you 2222, like just like shoot me some information. Like, oh yo, just follow back up. Like I am someone who's like looking to get in contact. Like, whatever. Okay. Anyways. That's settled that. But all of this to say, you know, the third dimension right now is going to be really communicating to you. So again, people who are still in the third dimension is like exactly where you just left, right? The people who are still separate from source, right? The people who actually think God brought them here and left them here with no way to survive, no resources, no help, no way to figure out how to make it through this long ass life. And so these bitches have like residual bitterness. They're like pissed the fuck off. They're not happy. And everything is triggering them that doesn't even make any sense. Like, you know, and again, people are in their like full-fledged demonic frequency too. Like I tried to tell you girls, I was like, you probably don't want to be locking in, because you might like turn into a demon for real. Like you might like straight up like just become like, you'll see people calling you delusional when they're being delusional by calling you like delusional. You'll see people like evicting you when they're like being crazy. Love you, baby. Have fun. Cancer season. Okay, bye. Okay, anyways, so please excuse the dogs. Dennis is like going outside, and they always hate when we go outside without them. But I think he's taking them outside, so they're spoiled. Anyways. Monty, it's okay. So anyway, let me, now that I, no, with Timmy's the cat in the corner. Okay, let me see. Thank y'all for being so chill and amazing. Happy Cancer season. I'm so excited. Huh? Oh, you're about to, yeah, I'm saying. I thought you were going in the backyard.
I was going to, but Darren just got home. So
yeah. Yeah, no, you can just go outside. I just said, titties. Okay. Anywho. Let me just see. There we go. Okay. So now we're just gonna get into some cards. So anyways, just know that you're gonna be doing a lot of the cross-functional dealing with the third dimensional paradigm. But the best thing about it is just like this isn't, you can do whatever. You can like respond. It's mostly like you don't need to go looking for anything, but if something does like approach you, you know how I do. Like something's like asking for some, like if somebody's like knocking on at Tethered, I just think that people can't be that illiterate. Like if you're asking for a film studio, if you're asking for me for any reason, I'm gonna be like, yes, I'm assuming you can read. Assuming you know what this is a studio, so what do you want? Don't be surprised. I'm like, what do you want? You know, I always give people the airtime. Like if they're asking for the stew, this is a public American business. You can have the stew. Put it on a blankie. Because I like sensory feelings. Okay, so anyways. So all of that to say, for 26 minutes, I think people just miss me. Sometimes people just miss teaching. A lot of announcements to cover though. Seriously, I don't know if you're watching this, but I am opening up personal readings. I'm trying to do this really cool like 12 session, 45-minute private reading situation over the course of from now to October. So I'm just super interested in like seeing how, you know, piloting some opportunities to like work with people over time during this retrograde season. So that way come October, there's a lot of like, yay, I was able to tackle my goals. I was able to be like where I wanted. I was able to do what I wanted. And now I feel like I'm in my now moment and I don't have any of like those residual insecurities or anxieties. I really think this would be a good opportunity for you. So go on the post tab. I don't, it's fucking a day or two ago. Who knows what day it was. And if that's something, like just go read about that opportunity. If you've been like looking for like private readings and you feel like, you know, I've never asked Alexis if she'd be willing to like do something personal, but if she, you know, she'd be good at it. I'm like trying to step into that space where it's like, you know, career-wise. So trying to do that because now I'm like, you know, it takes a long time, you know, as a reader, you want to make sure that you're also like reading yourself clearly before you begin to like extend into others. So it's been a wonderful, probably like 6 or 7 years now. So I'm like, yeah, I think I'm pretty excited to support because I have a lot to give. But let's see. So, Cancer season. I got my guy Titties with me here. Let's look at the overall energy. Hi, baby, I love you. Have fun. Dennis is going on a walk. That's what he's doing. He's going on a walk right now while Mama does a reading. Why? Because he should. Okay, the core message, 7 of Pentacles. I think this is so exciting. I think coming into July 1st, 7 of Pentacles, you have enough concretized evidence, enough, like, Cancer season, July is coming with the cuts, like it's coming with the detonation, because, you know, so much of, like, what we thought was being presented to us had a lot to do with like veiled information. A lot of like karmic situations tend to come with that. Like there's just not enough awareness yet. Like anytime you attract some sort of karmic information or a karmic situation, you don't have enough awareness as to like what the growth and evolution is for you. That's why we attract certain like, you know, painful experience or like whatever, right? So to start this with the 7 of Pentacles is so beautiful because it's physical results. Yeah. And I think that's what's going to make people tweak out. A lot of people right now are going to see your birthright inheritance out in front of you. I'm talking you're glowing different, you're smelling different. They can tell something's different about you because you've off-sourced it. You don't source your shit from other bitches anymore. Like the version of you that people got when you were in the 3rd dimension where like other shit that was man-made was like your source is very different than the version of you that I believe is here July 1st, which is like 7 of Pentacles type frequency where it's like I sourced this myself. And I think it's going to attract, and this is like a good thing. I think we should fucking celebrate. If immediately, July 1st, you like woke up and it was like your shit being so vulnerably on display, your values like there's a big ass bush of money. The fuck? Like, if that is what your July 1st is like, you're probably like waking up with this frequency. Because it's mirrored in you. It's talking about the things that you should feel excited. Like I said, the sword suit belongs to the air signs, right? So we are the guys that are like really super thrilled about like the samurai aspect of it all. The aspect of like, cut this down, cut this off, cut this, whatever, right? And so if you are in that experience, if you're in that, you know, reality where it's like, I'm finding that people are really trying very hard to Five of Swords me, right? Which just basically means create a win-lose. It's because winners at this point, like, have the winnings. Like, it's in their hand. And that's what's gonna be so painful when the world splits, is because like 5D has no limitations. It's like transcended Saturn's law, you know? It has respected Saturn's law. It's like, I'm not getting booked by the fucking popo because I respected Saturn's law. I'm like a law-abiding citizen in terms of spiritual law, right? And so when you're in that space and you're dealing with things from the third dimension, a lot of them are going to try to eliminate you at all costs, because your frequency literally just gives, I have nothing to hide. In fact, the value's on display, you know? And so this is where I would say, I also just feel like the guidance for Cancer season, like I keep saying Cancer season, but for Cancer season and July 1st, like July, is like being really excited. I think this is where like the assassins come out, because you finally are about to get like a backing, like a literal, this is what I mean, is like there's just something that's like evident, like the things that are for you, the things that are a part of your natural value or extensions of your natural value, are really like showing up for you. And they're like showing up by being like, fuck off. Like a real like fucking Johnny Cash, like fuck you, or like a fucking Kinky Friedman, like fuck you type of frequency. Like I feel like that's like what it is. This is like where you realize like how much like committing to that path has your back. I just did like such a big like, yeah, you're like actually properly ready for the spiritual militia. Like, you can't really serve and be of value to any sort of militia if you don't actually have personal value, you know? So again, right now, there's a lot of people like flopping because they can't stand, it's like they don't speak the same frequently. Like they're talking, but they can't hold it up. Like they can't also go band for band, pound for pound, M for M, you know what I'm saying? And then as soon as you ask them, they feel like you were Five of Swords. And they're like, well, how dare you? It's like, I'm not creating a win-lose. You just don't have any accountability. Like you can't even have a conversation. Some of these, like, free the children. Stop the child abuse. It's happening everywhere. Look at this. So let's see what's crossing you guys. Oh, my fucking shiggly dick shit dip. This is crazy. This is looking great. This is looking great. I think a lot of us also thought that like June was super like Eight of Swords, Seven of Cups. Like, okay, you're like, I feel like all of June was like, because the prophecy was unfolding, this is 7-7 energy. Like I'm telling you, July, the 7th month, it's like, it's all really was supposed to be like this frequency is like was really supposed to be like the it all comes down. Like I feel like this is a big alignment, but I feel like the Eight of Swords is like how it was processed. I feel like it was like, you know, you are, there's a big vision that's like dawning, but it's like coming in through a download. And I just think that the reason why maybe like today you woke up with like the clarity to cut what maybe you couldn't like feel like you could move, right? Because it felt like more so painful. I think sometimes like downloads coming in, like it's kind of like the message that I was saying about love. Like when you really deal with like a true love frequency, you will probably think that like some like universal power has like a vendetta, because like everything's gonna start like fucking being destroyed. Like kind of like it's gonna kind of feel like, why am I like losing stuff? Like why like this is like a really hard time in my life. Like I'm telling you, I told the story transparently about like when I met Dennis, because it was just like, dude, it was like a really discombobulating time. It was very much like this for us, because yes, what was loading when Dennis got sent to rehab wrongfully, or when my best friend died of a heroin overdose, was like, I'm about to inherit someone that I just needed this information and this experience to like 3333 to like support me, because I wouldn't be able to support them if I didn't have like the learning that I just got. But it didn't mean that it didn't feel any less like painful. And so I hold space, because I know there was a lot of June that was like, what, holy shit. But then there was a lot of June where like I was just so energetically overwhelmed and like wiped, because like what was the caliber, the vibration of the fifth dimension that I was being like asked to like put out was just so like potent. And it was just like, it's like literally sedated. Like there were so many solar flares that I was just like, I can't, like, you know what I mean? I'd just be like walking miles and miles and miles, and then I'd just be like vegetative, and then I'd be like fasting, and then I'd be just like, it was like so crazy just to like get prepared for how big of an alignment this is. Because I think that when I see this devil card, I really think about like how much like this is about how you make space. This is about like an awareness dawning, right? And that's what I mean. I feel like because you're learning that this is something that's like just connected to you, like this is like a soul celestial connection. I think that's why it might have came out very devilish. It might have came out like I feel like it's bad to be this obsessed with something. I feel like it's bad that I'm like this, like in my energy or fixated on something. But really, we were just like going through this process that was going to set us up for like July, which is where we actually are like, it's all aligned. It's like ring, ring, ring. It's like 777 energy. It's like, you know, you have the abundance, you have the emotional and intuitive fulfillment to back it up. So what could stop you from yielding your sword? You get what I'm saying? Through deception. Because that's exactly what I'm saying. It's exactly what I'm saying. You get me? I love discourse. I even love disagreement. But what my true love is like authenticity. Like I don't do well. It's not that I have an issue with someone like coming up to me, having an insult to give me and like genuinely insulting me and like calling it a day. That's not what actually my issue is. My issue is lying. When you are insulting someone because you just feel insecure, that's a lie. So that means you're giving something information that someone's going to take at face value because you just said it, and you're going to tell them you're my problem when they're not your problem. You have a problem with you. And that's what I really discern. I'm like, dude, but I'm not even your fucking problem. You're over here tweaking. Like, you're mad about your life, you're mad about yourself, and now you came over here to me and you gave me some critique, some whatever, some blah, 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 when you didn't have to do anything about your situation other than sit with what you really feel about yourself. You get me? And so I feel like there's like this energy of like people were taking note. We all were. You were, I was, we were all for whatever, whoever wants to be in your life in this new phase, in this new world. I think what you were realizing is like you were taking count of like how much people show up, how much people like want to put up protection also, I feel like, around this bigness, like how big things are and like how aware they are of that. Because I just get this message, this like King of like Wands frequency. Oh my god, Max is going crazy. King of Wands frequency is like watching people die by it, die for it. Like they're not even scared to like yield as like we'll just keep going back and back and back. It's like I don't really change, you know. And I think when we're trying to vet out like what kinds of people actually like will reflect like our metamorphosis, because I think that can be the other scary thing about like Cancer season, July in general, is like I know I metamorphosed, I know I've changed into something. I'm not quite sure what that looks like because I know I just like left a bunch of mirrors behind that like obviously mirrored like an old form. So there is a little bit of like, okay, I don't want to be, you know, it took a lot to get here. So I think there's a lot of like this sort of like slowly like being like, okay, what did I transform into? Like needing to take some time to like get into tune with like, what did I become now? Like, what is my new frequency? So that way, but I think one of the things that really helps is like off the bat, I just feel like your King of Wands, or like in my messaging, like for me personally, there's a King of Wands that's like watching you like decimate it. Like I'll destroy it, no problem. No problem, I'll just fucking, anybody saying some shit, I'll fucking murder. Because, and it has to do with this, that you really went through it. Like, you're not, it's like, it's checking that you're not only really for me, I mean, they also have the feelings that they feel personally that they didn't understand, but then it's also like, there you are. Like, the point doesn't change, you know? I think that's one thing that I'm getting a lot of justice for in my life at this time. A lot of years, before people knew that I was, like, raped by, it's truly, like, before people knew about my rape, before I was, like, it took me 20 years to like, tell the truth about that to, like, anyone. Like, I met Dennis, and I told him pretty immediately, but I didn't tell any of the people that were like responsible to like rectify that situation about it until like 2023. I started telling people about like, hey, just to like, you know what, I want to shatter your idea of our fucking family because we have a massing raging diddler in our fucking family. I just want to make sure you know. So, you know, anyways, it was like before I even like came out with that, I think a lot of people, you know, didn't really understand. Like they think I'm very like one of the things that I was getting, like my mom, one of like the last things, she fucking hates my guts, but like one of the things she was she's like, oh my god, Alexis, you can't have a 5-minute conversation. You can't have a 5-minute conversation. Sometimes I just want to come up to you, like literally she'd be like, sometimes I just want to tell you what I need to tell you and like walk away without you. And I'm like, so you don't want people to respond to you? Like, what? You're delusional. So, but that was one of the things is like, you know, this idea that like people always want to make me feel like I'm being too much, like because I like can hold a point or because like I can stay connected to source, literally, like is what it really is. Like if we're not talking about the third dimension, like I can literally just stay connected to source. Like again, you know, my in-laws really hate this about me in certain ways. Like they really hate that I'm so like it doesn't matter how much time passes, child abuse is child abuse. Like that we don't have to arc like someone raping a child or someone like selling a child to child slavery. We don't have to arc that to like something positive. Like that action in and of itself is just what it is. Even if, you know, people have changed things, like I am always going to say, like, if I disagree with like an injustice happening, that injustice, I won't change. Like I will always feel the same way about someone abusing someone's child or a child in general. I'll always feel the same about like systemic oppression. I'll always feel the same about like whatever injustices people face, because a vast majority wanted to make a system that like involuntarily submitted people, that like people like were pushing back against and trying to revolutionize because they're like, I didn't even agree to this. Maybe I don't want to live in this way or in this place, and blah, 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 you know. Anyways, so I just feel like it's so beautiful because I think there was also this big contemplation energy that I think you really helped with. Like, notice how it's the 7 of Cups and the 8 of Swords. It's like you overrid it. Like, yes, there were fears. Like, it's kind of like me. Like, you know, at this time, like, I really, like, the thing about me is, like, people that I love, I, like, know them really well. Like, I'm an Aquarius. Like, Aquarius children are, they're just so observant. They're, like, really deriving a lot of information from, like, the surroundings that they're in. And so I feel like the people that I really love, I think one of my love languages is, like, really knowing their energetic expression really well. Like, I know very deeply about, like, and from an unconditional space, like, I know really well, like, Dennis is Cancer, like, I know when his crab shell is closed. Like, I know when he's just, like, sending in energy and he's, like, not happy and he's hurting or something and he just can't verbalize and he's, like, you know, I know, like, I definitely know when those things are, like, happening for people that I, like, really love. And so sometimes when someone is, like, really hurt and even they're, like, hurting you and maybe they, like, owe you something because they're, like, causing hurt, but it's really because they're, like, in a painful situation. One of the things that I've really learned is, like, sometimes the only thing that moves humanity into the future is people doing obviously more than, like, their share. Like, I could just, like, stop it, like, okay, you know, that was rude to me, I don't, like, appreciate that, and now I'm gonna just, like, set my boundary and, like, cut it off. But when we're talking about people that are, like, actually for you in your life, that are supposed to, like, walk this journey with you, when they go through these cycles, this is also, like, I'm putting you on game to, like, how to be a long-term partner for someone. Like, how do you get to 8 years of, like, transformative, loving, free love? Like, how do you get there with someone? Like, well, the way you do it is, it's like, you know, it takes a lot of, like, sometimes you need to offset. Like, maybe when they're down is not when I'm down, so I have to be honest with myself. Do I have a little extra I could give Dennis to, like, support his self-esteem right now? If I just can intuit that he's, like, not feeling amazing, or, you know, if I can tell that, like, a lot of people are just giving him a lot of unfair flack, and maybe he is making a mistake, maybe he's, like, learning through something, but, like, if I can just, like, supplement that, because that is, like, how people know you love them. Like, I think that is, like, the thing, like, we don't realize. It's like, we all live on the internet. We don't, like, a lot of people don't, like, live a life. They have a lot of sicknesses, right? So they're, like, living parasocially, like, 100%. There's, like, a lot of people who, like, really don't have, like, a current life with, like, relating and people, and they've never had, like, friends or, like, you know, whatever. And so when you're, like, dealing with a, like, large level of people that have this, like, you know, we can get into this conversation that's just, like, so just, like, talking about something in, like, an ether, but not really, like, what are we really, like, doing for one another? And I really want to put that forward, that, like, I have so much love to give to all of the people who, like, are working with the studio and care about the studio. Like, I truly do. Like, I have so much, like, genuinely never ending love, because the studio, like, lets me say the entire spectrum of whatever it is for me, and lets me be the entire spectrum of whatever it is. Like, this is the one space where, like, anyone, even if peripherally that it's connected to, like, I have so much energy, extra energy, that I will expend, because I know that this is a partnership worth making over time. The people, even if they need to heal themselves before they can really, like, participate in the studio, or even if they just, you know, whatever it is, even if they can never really disclose, like, Alexis, you helped really change my life. It's about giving without expecting anything in return, really, in the way that I built this. You know, I really built it to be like, I just listened to this, like, anonymous Black girl say some shit, and I just heard spirit, and it didn't matter, and that was good. Like, that's real, like, that's as much as I needed from it, because, again, a lot of people couldn't, like, I wasn't making this so someone could get me out of my situation. You were watching me get myself out of my situation, and that's why it's so helpful to you, because I would be showing you how to do that, you know? It's, like, one of the best things that I ever learned from my dad is, like, you know, he really, like, was very critical of the, like, preacher, like, hierarchy. It's, like, a huge network of, like, preachers. It's, like, an underground network of, like, preachers. It's, like, a whole thing. Like, it's, like, a lot to be a preacher's kid. But my dad was always, like, really outcasted also in the preacher community, and because he had a healing and deliverance ministry, which is very different. It's very, like, Native American. It's very, like, I'm actually, like, here to, like, heal you from ailments. And so it's not exactly like a church, like, that you would go to. Like, you know, he used to run this, like, 3-story, like, women's home for, like, you know, recovering addicts, and, like, they just got to, like, live there and be, like, in community and supported, and, like, also, like, work on their spirituality, and, like, have the space to, like, bring their children and stuff. So he was just doing, like, something that I don't even think that, like, your common framework of, like, oh yeah, that's the deacon, or that's, like, the, you know, that's Reverend from fucking East 19th, you know, he's over here preaching every Sunday. Like, he wasn't, that's not really what he was. And so his church was, like, very, like, it was about healing. Like, he was like, I'm a healer. And so that's, like, not a lot of preachers are also healers. A lot of them feel called to, like, tell the fucking word. of the Bible. But so a big part of the thing that I learned from my dad is like if you join his church, it's like very weird, but it was a very like tight knit like family, like my dad's church was like very like low key, like kind of like what people would probably think like Charles Manson shit was like, minus the like alleged like murders and shit. Like it's just more like culty, like more just like kind of like a guru setting than it is like, yeah. So there's a lot of different, we could talk about it, but one of the things that he did in his church is like, if you join his church, the point is actually not that you just like go to church and like sing gospel. It wasn't like that at all. You go and you're basically learning to become a pastor, like him. So everyone in his church ended up becoming a pastor. So then he would just like have everyone, like they would just basically take turns channeling. And so that's what his Spirit of Truth Ministries ended up becoming, like in its like current iteration for, you know, whatever. But now, you know, one of the things that really taught me as a kid is like, that is so kind. Like, instead of being like, I have this call in my life to like step into this mission, step into this service, but also like he really taught me, he's like, it's not even like I'm special, it's I choose this. If you have the same level of love for God that I have, like step up, like do it too. And so it was really cool because a lot of pastors would be like, what the fuck, like they'd be so weird, like off put, because my dad would be like, hey, meet my congregation, which is just like, this is pastor da-da-da, pastor da-da-da, and it'd just be like all the people in his church ended up becoming like what he was. And I think you can totally see the integrity of that, like in what like I do here. Like my goal is to like have you do this in your real life for other people, right? Be the bitch that's walking and vegan and happy and healthy and blessed and like truly like has enough love to give. Because again, with this July 1st energy, the most amazing thing is like, you know, you did it. Like you were asked, like, listen, take stock of what you have. You know, some people have way less than what you even have. And do you actually have enough to give that could like make, not strangers, right? We're not talking about like, can you donate to ASPCA? No, we're talking about the people like in your real life. Can you give a little bit extra, even though yes, it may not be on you, it's a choice you have. It may not be something you have to do. It may not be something you even want to necessarily do. But if you know you have enough, whether it's just like love or high vibration or just like whatever, like that can make such a difference. Because it's gonna help heal this King of Wands energy in all of us, the divine masculine that was wounded, because it didn't feel like it had people that loved it unconditionally, right? Like the thing with masculines in the patriarchy is that they were like always conditioned. I hate to see how people treat masculine energy. Like, I mean, I'd hate to be a man, really. The fucking gender sucks. Like right now, like damn, like it's just like, put a bitch in a house, you fucking sacrifice your life, go immediately. If you don't make a certain type of money, you're already at 17. Like there's just so much stuff that like being a man genuinely right now, like that the world around you expects of you, that I just think is insane. Like we have just gotten to like, it's like we're in late stage fascism. Like we're just like asking men to do and be like they're not people. It's one of the things I really didn't love like with my mom is like, you know, her father passed like in a very unfortunate and like traumatic and violent, disturbing way when she was 6 years old. And you know, so she, you know, subconsciously has kind of like given us like treated us like we didn't have a father as well. But one of the things that's really hard is like, you know, I see my mom and she like really has like a lot of like unsuccessful like relationship dynamics going on all the time. And it has a lot to do with because she like doesn't actually like value men as people. I know that's hard to think. I know like when we're coming from like wounded feminine energy, especially at the hands of masculine energy, right, for so long, for lifetimes, like we're not just talking about like feminines rising right now, we're talking about like the collective archetype of like Lilith like coming back into like sovereignty and power, you know, type of thing. And so, you know, one of the biggest issues that I feel like she really had was, you know, actually just like, you know, because I would see it, like she really didn't think of, like she really thinks like a husband is like someone to mow the lawn, like, and so like she would really kind of treat her partners that disposably, like there is no emotional side, men shouldn't be crying, like she speaks in some very gendered, archaic language, and a lot of it comes from like what she didn't get from certain men, maybe in her past marriage or in her childhood, right, from men that should have maybe stepped up or been there for her. So then she kind of like always walks out in the world or even creates new partners where like she's projecting that like you're not a person just like she is who would have like this full spectrum, like, you know what I mean? And that's what I say like when I talk about the queer identity, it's about like moving away from really harshly like loaded up gender like normatives that like don't that are outside of nature. Like, I think it's really important to be queer because it's like really important for us to get back to nature. Like, you know, the way that it actually, like, you know, we are all coming here. Like I said, I wouldn't try what I'm doing at home. I'm not stressing that the institution of marriage is what y'all should be doing. I have people like I'm supposed to be like spiritually in union with. That's what like I'm showing you here. But that's because it's a part of my path and because of what we're supposed to go on to build with one another. But it's not like this monogamous heteronormative. It's not even that. Like I'm taking it as it goes and in stride, like learning about like what's next. But like, my marriage does not look like any marriage that I've ever like seen or witnessed in my life. You know, so it's very important to not box people in at this time. It's really important to not also just look at other people who have had power and still like reverberate the same sickness, which is like fighting fire with fire, for like being like, you hurt me, so I'm gonna hurt you back type of frequencies. Doesn't do anything at this time. But one of the things that I think is just like really attractive, King of Wands, something that someone is really attracted to is that like you die for everything. And not only that you die for it, it's not just like senselessly like, oh, like, you know, because there are plenty of people who like will be unaware and they'll like, I want your attention, so I die for you. But like, this is like someone who notices about you that like you always connect things back to source. Like, you aren't actually scared that this could die or to face things because you know you will rise again. 10 of Swords is just like that rebirth. Like, if this form dies, it doesn't matter. It'll come back even better. And so this was about someone being like, look, it's all good that you're like, right, you're trying to get clear, you're trying to understand what's the reality, you're trying to get back in tune, right, this July 1st. But someone who had a little bit more to give spiritually, like who could take the pain, because I feel like this 8 of Wands swords took a little bit of pain just to get this, but it's because they knew. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's like kind of like the point where it's like, if you know you're really close to like closing a deal, and like, you know, they tell you this in like entrepreneurship. Like, I used to work for the Chamber of Commerce. For example, the Moody Center here in Austin. Okay, so they just like tore down like the Frank Irwin Center. It's like a it was like an old entertainment arena, but back when they were like, you know, like the Harlem Globetrotters are like pulling up and like whatever. So it was like one of those like but we also like run the circus, but also you could go like see like Pitbull, you know. So that was like our like entertainment arena in Austin for years, for decades. And that recently just got demolished in the last like year and a half, 2 years. And they were building up this new like complex called the Moody Center. And when I was working with the Chamber of Commerce, the Moody Center invited me because I was the business development engagement manager. And of course, like usually like businesses who have like diversity, equity, and inclusion, like let's just say like deliverables to reach, like the first thing they'll do, like for example, when Elon moved to Austin for Tesla, like when they were scouting it out, they would call, the guys would call me and be like, hey, they become a member of that. Basically, like if you wanted to be a member of the Black Chamber of Commerce, you would come to me, you join at some level of membership tier. We decide based on like, because okay, so Tesla is huge, so if they're coming to bring a plant, that's like one of our larger tiers. So like Tesla's gonna give us like $30K versus someone who comes in at a smaller tier and is paying like $1,200 for their membership, but it's like a small business. So all of this to say, this giant complex comes to Austin. It's the Moody Center, and you know they're asking me to, you know, kind of help them like get situated with the chamber and kind of basically like have a partnership there. So I'm defining their partnership, and I don't even really remember where the fuck I was going with the whole conversation about the Moody Center or like why that even mattered. So fuck it doesn't matter. But we're just gonna go back to like I said, it's just, it comes back to, you know, you aren't afraid of, like, you're so connected to your source. There's not really anything that could like make you not want to continue to come back to that. So I think like when you went above and beyond, when you said, okay, I know I might be taking investment, right? I was talking about like how, you know, sometimes like when I need to land a deal, like if somebody really wants me to like lock a deal in, like I would like, hey, can I get your coffee? Like I would take people out to coffee like on the chamber, you know, oh, like you guys want to like meet, like if I wanted to like do like perspective, like let's build a port, like let's meet. So it's kind of like that. It's like, you know, there isn't a guarantee that someone's going to give you this investment, but you definitely won't get the investment if you don't like ascend and say like, hey, if you can't be like intuitive, like, hey, I know you might be like worried or like unsure in certain ways, and I'm intuiting that and I get that, but I want you to feel super comfortable. Like I said, my brother, I didn't tell you guys this, but my brother just bought a car. So one of the things, it's kind of like I'm getting like car salesman energy, where it's like, hey, you know, a lot of times when you go into fucking Howdy Honda, okay, in Texas, they're gonna be like, hey man, let's get you an espresso first of all. You want some nuts? You know, it's like that. It's like we do want you to feel comfortable emotionally and physically that you're about to make this massive of an investment. And I just feel like you just sealed the deal. I feel like something that I feel this in my life, like something I just did that was just like, oh my God, they're just going above and beyond. It's like they know the things that are bothering me. They know like this King of Wands, and it's about healing our masculine attraction, healing what the masculine finds attractive. And the only thing masculines should find attractive is devotion to source, you know, and you'll see that in the partners you like if you're like, if you love women, if you like, oh, I love women, oh my God, and you're masculine, let's say, right? That's great. But the thing about that is that like what you should love in women is like their devotion to a source consciousness, right? Like this consciousness that's like, oh my God, like it doesn't really matter to me because I'm not, it's like, I'm going back to this whole, like, I'm not leaving the point. Like I'm not, I don't like, also like a divine feminine energy, like as someone who's got a lot of spiritual ranking, their stuff is all the way in their root chakra. Like 10 of Swords means your spirituality is in your root. So there's nothing you can say, like I'm not standing on false loose business. I don't even have to tell you what I do to affect change or to trigger up the truth out of you. You know what I mean? So this is also the divine masculine being like, I needed to go for something way, their morality needs to be rooted in some sort of like root chakra shit. You know what I'm saying? It really does. And so that's like the most like obvious, like fervent, like experience that I feel like is coming out. Exactly. Because in the recent past, I feel like the Cancer new moon, 6 of Wands, I think it had to do with like where you saw out of the Cancer new moon, like where you are successful, like where you feel successful in life. And so because the Cancer new moon, like you said, like I said, talks about what you genuinely feel can, because you could be coming to an awareness under the Cancer new moon of like what is going well, 6 of Wands in your life, even through like a negative emotion about it. Like I was crying about just like, God, I'm so emotional sometimes, feeling like certain things about like wanting to move forward in this American economy is really difficult to do, or like really hard for me as a business owner to like enter certain places. People don't take me seriously. I don't get loans. I don't get investments in the same way because of like just, you know, discrimination or just things that like my demographic like just like systemically keeps from me, you know? So I was like really like emoting about that. But the real awareness that I ended that night, like we had a fucking crazy ass night. I like had a whole thing, like opened up about, I told my brother for the first time that I was raped, and it's like, that was like so crazy, you know, and it really healed so much. And then we went and had to our favorite like buffet spot, and we went to like fucking play some fucking proper games and stuff, and we just had a fucking fun night. But, you know, I think it comes down to, whether I was feeling good about it or not, like I feel very passionately about the things that I do feel successful in, you know, like even if like right now, like I said, like I could be going through a tough cycle, like even with like my husband right, you know, not right now, but I mean like in life, in our relationship. And you know, that's kind of what that's how you learn about unconditional love. And that's how you learn about like, well, it doesn't, Dennis, I always remind him, I was like, Dennis, it doesn't matter. Like half the time when it comes to like our arguments, I just want him to always be moving with the awareness that like, you know, I can like release my ego and my anger and my swordsy warring energy on this person, but like Alexis is like actually the only person that would even be giving a fuck. Like there's, you know, I think about that all the time. I'm like, there's no one else that actually like, gives a fuck about me. Like, you know, I can like squander the people around me or think they're not enough for me, but like who else? You know, so yeah, like I go through things and life can be hard, but it's like, it is about like, you have to kind of stay grounded and realize like, you know, not everybody gets everyone. Like not everybody really like deeply cares about you or can support you or is aligned to you. So it's like, you know, there's just like a lot of big energy about how the Cancer new moon like really showed you where you're successful, and like everything else just doesn't exist anymore, you know? Wow, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. Yeah, I feel like this is exactly what's coming up. And it has to do with the Emperor and the Star. You know, being able to truly, like the Emperor is seeing what the star is. I also feel like there's a message like this emperor has like massive hope. Like someone keeps like doing the work for other people. Like someone keeps going band for band, M for M, toe to toe on behalf of other people. And it's like giving this emperor like so much hope to like, I'm good. Like, again, this is like one of those things, you know, Emperor's New Groove type shit. Like say you have been like running a palace forever, but I always say that even our leaders, you know, I think people like in public discourse or like in media get really crazy and like heartless with people who like really like hold up like a lot of like society with what their output is. Like it's really easy for us to like really judge prominent figures that like do a lot for the collective, right? You know, I had submitted my brother for this like film competition that I thought like, you know, was really important to say that it was this whole like composition that I submitted because, you know, the composition was talking about like a song that inspires, that you should be inspired to like make a video. Well, from what I understood, I thought that it was just like make a concept inspired by like this track, what you think the track like means. And to me, the track really talked about like an artist really believing that like, you know what, regardless of what may seem thankless, regardless of the cycles I go through, like I know that the things that are for me cannot be like kept from me. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I chose to do with that, which is what inspired Uranus Kazemi, where I chose to like highlight like my brother, my brother's in like a million bands, okay, like billions. But one of my favorite projects he's doing right now is Tied Up. And you guys have seen them now here. Obviously you've seen how phenomenal they are. But Tied Up also like they do a lot for like our local like scene as well. Like it's like, we don't have like a lot of talent still left in Austin. Like they got rid of all the Black people and all the artists. So like our shit's fucked up right now. And there's just very few people that can like stay here because like I'm homeless right now. Like a lot of people can't like live here. It's like unstable. But you know, so my brother is just someone like when I thought of the song and when I thought about like the artist who made the song, and then when I thought about my brother, I just thought like there's so much similarity about like, you know, the lifestyle of like doing what I do here, right? Like maybe your art is making music and playing it live, but maybe my art is like doing what I do here. And it's like I do it and I do it and I do it, and so many days it feels like super not thankful, but like I think the whole point is that like something that I'm looking for, I know obviously like when I come here and do this when I'm homeless, there must be something that's on the other end of this that I may not be conscious of right now, but it is why I'm doing this so fervently, like why I'm like so dedicated to this like practice. And I feel that way like when I look at my brother play and continue, like, you know, so many people discourage him, like, Sherman, you gotta let the music dream die, dude, it's just not worth it. Like so many people just spread negativity in that way. And you know, my brother has like changed my life because for over like 20 plus years, like he's been doing the same rocker lifestyle. Like he's the coolest guy. He can go to any club and he plays a show fucking every night, any night. It's like he has so much royalty at a local landscape, and it is just as rich and fulfilling as, in my opinion, being like a major mogul. Like my brother gets to do whatever he really wants to do with his art, which in my opinion is like how you know you've made it as an artist, and your shit is like god tier. It's like, you know, my brother is like born to play the guitar. That is like his soul's expression. He has so much to do with his past life, that instrument. And so I just am like really loving it. Like, we have such a separate soul, but like we're so locked in. Like me and my brother, like I respect him so much. And you know, even with like whatever about that, like that's kind of like what this energy of Cancer season is. It's like, you know, never forget the people that are connected to source, because when everyone else drops dead, they will rise again. Like, you know, and if you've made that mistake, like I feel like this emperor, that's what he wants to tell me, he's like, you know, I think the only reason the emperor couldn't even embrace the star before is just honestly because of the same thing my brother goes through. Like, dude, so many people rely on him, like in the scene, like sometimes to a point where like they're not really interested in like leveling up, like kind of like how I told you my dad's really interested in, like, I want you to be like me, because that's like the only thing that feels equal to us. Like my dad is like, no, I don't want to like preach at you, I want you to like to do this too, because I like it's more about like sharing in the craft than it's like fixing someone into a power dynamic. And so I feel like my brother so many times like wants, he is so good with just staying like in the local level of things. Obviously he's happy to go as far as he wants to go in life, but he's so good with the local level. But I think sometimes like, you know, he kind of gets so demotivated, even though he's doing something so like, this is like one of my favorite projects that he's ever chosen to commit to. The people that are in it are insane. They work so well together. They like have such a good simpatico. But I think it just, sometimes he feels the discouragement because he's like always carrying so much on his back, and so many people, like their personalities, even their schedules. Like if Sherman wasn't playing the show, it's like people don't have anywhere to be. To be honest, it's like that. Like they're like musicians that are like in a landscape that used to be so vibrant, and now there's just like so few local Austin musicians, and it's like very dire. And I've been really trying to like get Texas cities like revitalized, because in my opinion, Texas cities are like the only people that are like really prepared right now for this shit. Like to be honest, at an energetic level, because there's so many resources in this land that are like chef's kiss for the apocalypse. But I feel like that's kind of the energy of like this, you know, July 1st, which is like the emperor is getting hope because the star came in and was like, yo, I have more to give. I can do because I think the emperor just couldn't fight the demon. Like I just think they just like, because they've been so like used for their resources, it's like, I get it, I see it, I know I need to do this, I know I need to like make certain changes, but it's like sometimes it's like, who's there for the person that's at the top, you know? Like really, like who knows how to like rejuvenate and restore like the people who are like mad successful, the people who are like doing everything for all of us. And you know, that's kind of what Tethered Studios wants to like equalize, is that all people need the same level of like care. Like it's always on some if it's you then it's me type shit on this channel. Like if I would like, and that's also one thing you'll learn about me. Like I'm so excited. Like I said, that's why I'm doing the personal readings. I'm really ready to get like, you know, personal, because I think there's just like a wave of people at the studio that are like really ready now, that they've healed a lot and they've seen, you know, results, so they're ready to like connect with me like more just at a personal level. So I'm just so excited because I just feel like, you know, that's kind of what it was about, is like, you know, I wanted this to be somewhere where it's like, you know, we we can't fight the fire with fire. Like we can't be like, fuck the patriarchy, fuck men and how they were doing this is crazy, but then also be using patriarchal ideals to like put men down. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's fucking insane to fucking overly identify gender and like use that. Like gender can't really be the metric that we're like deciding societal value. Like it has to be something spiritual. It can't be your fucking dick. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's not fair. Some of these things are just not good to like label us. Like being, our skin color is like not a good like way to like decide. Cause right? Cause y'all do it all the time. Y'all see somebody who's mixed, y'all see somebody who's light skinned, you see somebody and they're not black, they're not this, so it's like some of these, it's really more about like how the way that we group ourselves doesn't really support like, it's just like the definitions of why we're all together for certain things don't make any sense. So it's just super beautiful because I think like this was the star being asked by the divine, like, you're gonna have to turn it up. Like you need to go the extra mile like a car salesman and be like, hey, before we lock it in, I know you're getting cold feet. I'm getting like this emperor was like maybe getting cold feet just because they're so worn down. And it takes someone, I think it's the emperor in me. Like I used to be like, before I like wiped all my socials like 6 years ago in 2019, like I felt like I didn't, like my friends like thought I died. Like you can go ask them, they don't know where I am, they have no idea. Even though like I was like, you could tell, like if you go to the archive on the Instagram, like so many bitches like know me deeply, like so many bitches, like they're always, and trust me, every day they're like, where the fuck did Alexis go, like what happened? But it was because I was getting to that point. Like it was a point in my life where it was like, I'm the emperor for all this, I'm like holding all this up, but like I just was getting to this point. It's like not even my friend's fault or anything. It's just like I don't think anybody could be responsible for how much I actually like control in the world. But I really need somebody to like be there. Like sometimes you need somebody to like fight those battles for you when like the weight of like, you know. And so for my brother, the reason I submitted him for this contest is because like, you know, he doesn't ask for like, you know, I am like, he tells me this all the time. Like I am my brother's like best friend in the world. Like he, like I've never met someone who like genuinely is like, you were like just like he loves me so much. I've never met it. It's like a very pure, he's just like, you're like just the fucking littest like person ever. Like I don't know. He just looks at me with such an aspirational like fucking vibe all the time. I'm like, wow, you must really think I'm fucking cool. Because I don't know, like I used to be so detached, but like, you know, he always reminds me like, Alexis, you really push me, because I got the entrepreneur gene from my dad where like I go and demand my value. Like my dad will like quit a job proper anytime. Like he walked out of his liquor store job like so quick when the guys like didn't invite him to go golfing. Like all the white guys got to go golfing and they didn't invite him as manager, and he just felt like some type of way about it. He'll quit, right? Like don't be fucking racist. Like so I'm like that. Like I'm very like I can advocate. I'm okay with being like, no, this actually does cost like $300,000. Like if you want to like submit, you just like need to do that. We're not gonna like. Whereas my brother and my mom have, you know, the like just tell it like again, like just let me know, like he even said, he was like, you know, I'm kind of the person that's like just pay me whatever and I'll, you know. And so for him, when he has so much value, I tell him all the time, I'm like, Sherman, that's like part of the reason why some of those things, like, you know, you're burning out in certain ways because you're just not letting yourself get more. So since being here, one of the things I've really like helped bring is that I remember when I'm around him like how much he like needs that energy in life, because he's like, you're the only person, Alexis, that like I actually know loves me unconditionally, truly, and could get me to change some of this shit or get me to just like advocate for stuff. So like when I submitted him, I just like really in my heart, I was like, my brother needs this. There's so many things that we're like systemically going through that just don't make sense for someone who, like, if you knew us in Austin, like everybody, like he's like a celebrity here. But the thing, like anyone in town, like would know. But it's just like so wrong for me and him to like live in some of the ways that we live. Like he didn't have a car for like, I gave him my Mini Coupe. Like he was driving my Mini Coupe around because I had to get rid of my Mini Coupe because I thought I was moving to Atlanta last summer because we were gonna go fucking proper move and start the empire in Atlanta. And then we had a falling out in Atlanta. It's like, so it's just like I gave him my car because like there's so many things that like systemically my brother and I just like never got a chance with. And so when I bought a car and I was leaving and I was like, look, because me and Dennis had 3 cars at the time, I was like, look, so Dennis gave one of them to my grandmother who's never owned a vehicle in her life, so he gave her the Cobalt. I gave Sherman my Mini Coupe. I was like, lead around. And so, you know, it's like all these things, and for like years, like I've been trying so hard, and like I try to like convey like a real story, like, you know, there are real people who like, you know, and in my opinion, like the artist that was like offering the opportunity, I feel like has a lot of, is going through intuitively the same thing that I feel like my brother, me, many artists that connect to the studio, maybe you felt, where it's like I run everything, but like sometimes then I'm getting asked to do the spiritual thing. Sometimes when it comes to like cutting people off or just like letting people know like that hurt my feelings, or like I'm a person still, even though you put me on a pedestal, like I'm somebody, and like I have hard days too. And when I post a selfie, I don't want you guys to say I look like a fucking shitter. Like I thought I looked good, damn it. Like, you know, type of shit. And it's like, you know, I just feel this, like, it's again, it's kind of like the car salesman, like you really like allowed for something to get concretized. Like it was gonna be given to you, but again, it's just like, this is about being a good salesman. This is about like really not using people to get the sale, but being like, listen, I want to go into this partnership because I think it's good for all of us. And I just feel like for all of you, like that's what's come up. July 1st is like you're realizing that. It's like whatever in June prophetically came through and supported you when you didn't have more to, like when you couldn't finish it off, that don't discard that, because that is what gives you hope to like, okay, I'm back. Like I'm just seeing so many emperors that are like, oh, fuck yeah, okay, finally I have that muse, that like motivation, that like actual like, yes, like let's go like run the empire again. And like, you know, now you're gonna be making more sound investments. It's like more emotional fulfillment. It's more spiritual protection, because you also, like I said, this star energy like protects you spiritually, which is like something that I just like feel like is really needed. And I can relate to that, because that's what I wanted Tethered Studios to be. And I have so much star archetype energy, like literally as in like the tarot archetype of the star. So I'm Aquarius style, and like I'm not just like I'm a star, like I'm a star because of the science, because of the mathematics. But it is like, it is truly like on that. Like it's like this studio, I really hope like gives you guys that, like the thing that I think Western society, especially when I talk about my North America, the continent, I think something that we all really share in common is like, you know, there a lot of the symptomatic shit that the Americas tell you to like go after are spiritually based, and they're not going to actually tell you that you probably just need a shaman. You don't even need therapy. You need a shaman to move that energy. You need a healer. You need a Reiki worker. You actually need to go get acupuncture. Like you actually need to go get your spine realigned. Like you actually need to go do a deep net. Like you should have gone and done ayahuasca. You didn't even need to like start a gym routine, because you're not changing the source. You are trying to mold on top of something that hasn't moved, right? This is why, again, I told you guys at the beginning, I like stopped with the gym culture in certain ways, because it's like at some point though, like if I have issues with my body, I'm not connecting to the issue. I'm just telling it that if it looked a different way, and because now you're just adding something on your plate to do rather than like creating a lifestyle. So all of that was just so beautiful. Oh my goodness, so cool. And it's beautiful, because I think the best partnerships come in when someone has gone within to offer it, you know, when someone is, you know, steady and stable and ready, because I think this is what you were giving time for, you know. And I think it just shows your maturity. I think it shows your maturity if you were someone in June that was like, look, I got my life on my plate, but you matter to me, you're a part of my life, and maybe you're requesting more of me at this time because you need it, obviously, like that's clear. So I'm just stepping up to fill the need. And if you've done that, you allowed this person to heal like internally, and now they're able to like bring you back dividends that I don't think you're expecting. And it is the grounded communication of like, you're the light that I follow. You are actually the one that helped me clean this shit the fuck ski up. Yeah. This is the emperor who's now like who knows who to follow, because again, Cancer New Moon showed you where things are successful in terms of you and your relationship to yourself, and then how that's mirrored outside of you. So you know where that is actually like successful within yourself, which is so awesome. Let's see. This is so cool. This is really awesome. Okay, Cancer New Moon, or fucking July 1st. This is what's happening today, right now, like all month. I mean, it's like you get to now move away from things that the cups that like those would just require me to keep filling up. You don't. This is also like when you reconnect with like source, but when you find things that are for you, you feel God. Like when I say like, again, being, you know, married or finding Dennis, like the reason that I even married him when I did was honestly out of survival of like, people wouldn't step off. Like people will invalidate the fuck out of your like spiritually ranked relationship if they don't have some like physical thing. Like I would be like, Dennis moved in with me 6 months. Like again, our whole relationship was taboo. So like getting married after 6 years was so important to us, just because it's like, in terms of the third dimension, like we don't like, bitch, the state of Texas gives a fuck about what the fuck is legal paper. It was just about like that day our souls merged, like as like we were there, and that's what that really symbolized, which is why the elopement was so appropriate in so many ways. Because it's really not about the system of marriage. It's not about like what people expect. It's not about like a heteronormative, monogamous fucking bullshit straight. Like it's not about any of that agenda. It's literally about like, this love will never leave my life. It's not meant to. This is like the craziest like initiation. This is like the craziest, like this person, like I'm just supposed to add this love in. And that's how I really view it. It's like my soul might need a lot of things in this lifetime. I don't know. But I'm definitely not going to build with people who can't accept that like I need to have all of the things that are supposed to be a part of my life. For however they're supposed to be with it. I'm not owned by anyone, you know. My husband is not owned by me. It's like we're not doing slavery. We're just like in love. Like this is who I'd be having sex with every single day, because that's who I've been told by the divine. Like that's what I get to do. So good for me, you know. But I feel like, you know, when we're talking about like walking away, I just think that like this is really cool too, because it's huge drop-offs. I feel like July, like I'm really excited too, because like I'm finally coming. This materializes like these, like some of the partnerships that I really need. Like, you know, I'm a media conglomerate, but I don't really use social media personally. Like even my phone, like my phone has been like converted to like my business phone. Like I don't use it like personally to keep up with anybody. Like I don't have any like contacts in this phone. There's like, it's literally just for the like technology of it. Hence why I always tell you guys, if you're calling me or contacting me, just like let me know, like just like, shoot me or whatever, like text me or something so I can just like see it or like whatever. But I feel like this is like, you know, for me with July, one of my biggest hopes is like I'm really excited to like get off of certain, not platforms, but like yeah, I guess platforms. Like I don't really care for like social media that much. Like I don't like I do it, I use it for like my business purposes, but I don't really like use it for like me personally, like for like clout and whatever. Like I did kind of just like an archival space, like, you know, because I think my life is going to transition and move so much. Like right now I'm just trying to like get all this stuff because I don't have like, I've lost all of my technology. I don't have access to like old passwords and stuff. So like I've been trying to like dig and get all the stuff that like is a part of my narrative so people can like transparently know that I put myself forward wholly, like without trying to like change it, so that people can get enough information I think about me without me trying to gatekeep and like show you what narrative, like how I want you to think of me. Like I want you to just like, here it is, there it is, this is what I really do, this is how I really talk, this is what I really look like, this is what I really did, these are really my friends, this is my really life, you know. So I've just been kind of doing that to kind of like revolutionize the social media sphere right now that we've been kind of like navigating it from. Because I really truly want to just get back to like, can we get back to when it was like a photo sharing app and like bitches weren't crazy? Like what? Like I wasn't actually trying to be like a political sexual symbol with this. I was like, I should just like sharing my photo from the day. Damn, like damn, you know what I mean? So whatever. But I just feel like all of that to say is like super important. So I'm gonna keep going so that we don't run out of footage. But this is like such a special message. So again, this is kind of that feeling of me. Like I'm really excited because like once I really like get like, again, I just feel like with the studio, I'm like, oh, I see like who I was trying to contact, like what I was like, why God had me doing this, because it didn't make sense for years now. As you've seen it for years, I've kind of been like, I don't know why I'm being asked to do this. I don't even know who's looking. I don't even know if anyone's looking. I don't know. I'm just being asked to do this, and now I'm kind of getting that answer, and it's really cool because finally I don't have to like be on, like I don't have to like. It's kind of like that's why most of y'all see me in Dennis, like we just duck off. We don't like talk to anybody. Like doing like literally just like living every day, bro. We're not like, I'm not really even someone that like I don't really care that much, you know what? Like I use like if I use the internet as like outreach if I need it, but like I don't really always want to be in a position of like always like needing to reach people. Like, you know, I'm good to take a picture on my fucking film camera and like call it a day. Like, oh my guys, you know, if we had a good night at the beach or something, like let's take a real photo and call it a night. Like I don't like, and I feel that deep sense. It's like so beautiful because like July 1st is coming with like this major drop off of like, you may have needed so much attention before, because I don't think people realize like if you have millions of followers, if you have like thousands of people subscribed, or you know whatever the fucking case is, a lot of the times like most people get really successful because they're trying to look for what's for them. That's like really the truth. Like I told my mom that I was like, bitch, but even if I was rich, most people want what I already have, right? Like I already have my soulmate, and they can tell, like they can literally see it. So they're like, damn, like you know, you didn't even have to go become Jeff Bezos to try to fucking have $1 billion fucking wedding or some shit. Like you could have just, you already have it. And so that's why I do kind of move differently, because like I'm kind of already satiated. Like when I'm not using hyperbole when I say like, I don't really hate even like the way that my life is set up. Like I don't like, yes, I could do, you know, maybe more food would be nice, maybe more water, maybe, you know, maybe a bed, but in general, like, I mean, I still do the exact same thing like I would do with more resources. So, you know, I try to be very transparent about that, but I just feel like that is so the energy. Oh, it's so beautiful. My frequency really gives this. I'm going to really give like a temperance earth angel energy because I have a 9th house stellium. So I'm really giving kind of like angel from heaven that just like knows how to temper things. But you're somebody's 10 of Pentacles. Someone is walking away to temperance and they have a castle. Because they're like, I literally see forever with you. I told you, June was prophetic because what you did in June, I don't think you knew it, but for the things that are for you, it was exactly what they needed to see from you. They saw all of June, they saw how your life was turning out. And it's not even about what you're doing, it's about how what you do compares to like what their framework is. Like, you might think like, I'm homeless, like, right? I might think like, I'm homeless and like, I don't really even need to show for it. I've been in the same fucking outfit, like, you know, braids, I can't redo my braids or anything, like nothing, just gonna have to wash them out and call it a day, you know, still sexy, but you know, I have had to deal with all that. Like sometimes I don't really think I'm doing anything revolutionary here, like sometimes I'll come in here just like scream crying, but like Spirit's like, you don't know how you stack up to these vacant ass like examples that other people have in their life. Like the way I don't feel like I'm giving any, like I give you guys the same love I pretty much give everybody and myself included, like in life, like, you know, so it's really kind of natural for me. But like some people who've never even had this caliber of love allegedly like might be like I'm addicted to this because I don't even have access to this. These people can resources, and they don't even have access to the type of love that I just administer, you know, and that's huge. And you know, it takes a lot sometimes for us to leave complacency and like uproot it and like go for alignment. But this June was that month where you proved it to people that you would. It's like like I said with the slumpy tapes, like, would you die for me though, for real? Like, do you really like me enough to where it's like you like would take like someone calling you crazy things or whatever just to like stand next to me, not even defend me, to stand and honor my spiritual truth? Because that's what I really do. I don't fight people. I don't call people names. I don't do fucking anything. I don't do that shit. I just stand there and I'm like, what you're saying doesn't make sense. And it's also not based in truth. Like I'm just a lie detector. I'm like, I'm gonna tell you that you're lying right now. You know? What you're saying your issues are in life right now are not actually your issues. That's one thing I'm gonna do every time. I'm gonna do it every time. Right? And this was the fear, you know, because I think some people thought like this offer might be coming on too strong. It's what happens when true love finds you. Like when you really find true love, you're always gonna be like, why the fuck do I feel this strongly? That's like very scary. But it's actually a really good thing because again, true love is not everything, right? Not everyone is meant to be this special. It is the emperor and the star for a reason. Like not everyone, like that's what I said, is like I didn't get married too fast. I wasn't confused. I was like, no trust. Like the way Dennis looks, like the way what he was, like that, like I very much knew like in this lifetime, like he was supposed to play that role for me, and I 8 years later, I have so much proof of that. Dolphin Boy Records and Tethered Studios is something I'm just so glad exists now, and it only could come if we came into union type of thing. But I feel like, you know, the same cold feet. Dennis was the first one to tell me he loved me, and he literally freaked out. Like I think he called me. He was like calling me on the phone one night. He like it slips out. He's like, dude, I like really love you. And we were just like maybe like a month and a half into dating, and I was like so happy he said it. And I was like, oh my god, like I'm really happy you said that, and you know whatever. And I was in the bubble bath at the time, I remember. And then like the next day, he calls me, and mind you, he was also being like brainwashed, but he like was being brainwashed in a facility that like forced you to like. They kind of like rape you, like they're like asking you about like who are you fucking, like what are you doing, like, and then pretty much like indoctrinate if you. So he went to his sponsor, because you have like sponsors and counselors and therapists that you have to like legally meet with if you're in a fucking high accountability recovery house. So he went to his sponsor and he was like telling them about me, and his sponsor was totally bringing the addict propaganda. I was like, you might as well leave her alone now because you're an addict. You're just, this girl's in college, like leave her alone. Like literally, I don't care what you think, you can't give her anything right now. And maybe he's coming from the perspective like Dennis is like an admitted heroin addict in a high accountability house, but that was such a destructive thing for him to say, because Dennis literally at that point, like, you know, he took this guy, his sponsor, who he had a long-term, you know, rapport with, he took his word, and then he called me the next day and was like, look, I can't do this because I have to, like, I'm an addict, like, I'm not trying to just fuck your life up, like, this is not gonna work out, sorry. And it devastated me. Like, he literally, and he did it pretty brutally too. He was like, he literally texted me, he was like, we laugh about it so much because he was just like, yeah, you can still come pick me up and like take me to the thrift store, but as friends, like I don't want to do anything with you because, and you know, I didn't even get offended by it because he was in a high accountability house. Like it isn't actually unrealistic to also say like he has, like if you have an active addiction, it's not that crazy, because it's like, it is very hard sometimes, like, you know, if someone's like battling pain or demons that like are running their life in certain ways, if you're not ready for that. And he just didn't want to put that on me. I don't think at that time I was giving like healer, you know, I was like kind of like 20-year-old. But I remember being so like, so even Dennis, even Mr. Perfect Morningstar, like it started that way. He was freaked out because it's like, you know, he said like the love was jumping out, and it made him feel very like, you know, because he said it, but I think it was like, he thought like, it felt like, was that too premature? And then so when he went and got guidance from like, and maybe this is a spirit message, maybe he went and got guidance from someone that like, hey, should I like, does this look like it's coming on too strong? And they maybe like reinforced in you a fear, which also gave you clarity on why you should cut those people, because they actually just like reinforce negativity, or they want you to be scared of love when you shouldn't be scared of love. So maybe that's a message, so I'm sharing that with you. Thanks, Dennis, for letting me like share our truth. But like, yeah, he was like scared, and then when he went, he just aligned with more people. Like he was open, vulnerably sharing like the fear he had, but then he aligned with people who like, yeah, dude, that's a stupid idea. Like, fuck that girl. Like, he didn't ask too much about like, you know, he like saw her in pictures and like whatever, and he's like, yeah, I matched her on Tinder, and he's like giving him like, you know, she's awesome, and she's been picking me up. She does know my truth. Like, she knows I live here, and they're like, dude, it's not a good idea. You can't be focused on them right now. You need to be, you're a mess. And a lot of people don't realize a lot of souls are here to be like awakened by divine love. Like a lot of souls are actually here to like wake up and like actually like through love. And you know, it's actually not by sending them into rehab or putting them in a fucking psych ward or something. It's like actually like, you find someone who like loves them unconditionally and like Look at what happened to Demi Lovato, bro. Like, she was crashing out bad, bro. Like, bad. And then, like, she found her soulmate. And, like, I told you, when you're away from your soulmate, like, your shit looks crazy. Like, the way I used to act before, like, I met Dennis. Like, I knew that I was, like, fucking shit pinata. You know? And so we're going to end this July. You know what I mean? Where it's like, look, you're letting people take the battle. Seven of Swords. This is you. You're so strong now. You're actually like going up to deceptive energy. Or, I mean, in fact, the deceptive energies are coming up to you because you're strong. But when you respond to them, you're just letting them walk off with like, did you want to win that? You can win it. I'm just asking you to leave me alone. I'm asking you to discern, right? Because notice how the Seven of Swords, I just keep wanting to pay attention to, like, the Five Swords, which the Five of Swords is like a lose-lose. Like, lose-lose. Like, I just want to come here and make sure you lose this. And like, people who are in my God strength right now, or for you who's like ending this reading and starting this month in this level of God strength, like, you let people who want to do the war thing do the war, because there's no war for you. You're just discerning, like, get off my path or don't, right? So when deception comes up to you now, it's like, you can either get out or don't. It doesn't matter. And so that is just like so beautiful. I'm just like, I'm gonna see if there's any other things I want to clarify. Such a beautiful spread. I mean, it's really such a special message. Let's clarify the Seven of Pentacles. Let's see. Let's clarify ski. Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, justice, karmic justice. It comes back into you. Yeah, it's karmic justice. They know the investment is just. You win the investment, but if you win the investment because you had enough and you. Right? You don't, this is about taking people as whole people. Even if you're just partnering with someone, even if you're clocking into work, like, think of people as whole people. And like, that's how we're going to heal this like horrible epidemic where some of you bitches who wanted to fucking be the megaphone for divisiveness, like, no shade, no tea, but I don't understand why you guys don't hold like Kendrick Lamar to the same fucking Donald Trump frequencies. Like, in terms of like divisive rhetoric, like, right? Like, if we're really going to be talking about like what people are doing right now and like the responsibility they hold, like, I don't really give a fuck about any of it. I'm not tapped into any of it, but I'm just, this is like something I'm saying. It's like, what is really the difference though? Like, because anyone, you're seeing me publicly denounce my mother, which most people might be like, what? Why are you doing that? Because like, everybody knew me and my mom were like so locked in my whole life. But one of the things that I had to come out and out her about is like, dude, she has problems, bro. She has problems. She has issues with making things super divisive for no reason. Like, there's there's no reason for her to take away my humanity. No matter what she wants to focus on in my life or tell me that I need to fix, you don't have to dehumanize me, right? I'm also like, mom, like, why? Don't ever talk. If you get your feelings hurt when someone calls you ugly, or someone says something mean to you, or someone doesn't have time for you, or someone dismisses you, or someone rejects you, or someone abuses you, if that hurts you, it would hurt someone else. So it's not an excuse anymore to be like, I've been hardened by the ways that I was abused, and now I like go around and maybe I'm on the internet just commenting hate or just being divisive, or I'm even making records that are fucking hate anthems that are just like, you don't know how to conflict resolve. Like, what's your issue with the guy? Like, can you take it off? Because we're just going to see you for what it is. You were obviously needing money, right? We're going to see it for that, you know? People hold our president accountable in that way, but you don't be holding the same things in the streets like that. It's just like, and a lot of it, you don't realize, like, these people have so much horrible karma on their hands, like, just because they've been fucking with the collective consciousness. Like, you can't take unconscious people and then give them a reason to war. They don't need it. They don't need it. They don't, you know? And I just, whatever, I had to say what the fuck I had to say, bro, because y'all don't really have any critical thinking skills. You don't, because people, like, dividing up the collective is not going to achieve anything. It's not. Even people who are being taken over by demonic frequencies, you send them love. It's the only way to exorcise the demon. Point blank, period. Even people who are being assholes to you, like people who actually have love and unity consciousness in their root chakra, are going to look at you and be like, my dude, you're speaking from your wound. You're not even speaking from you. Because you wouldn't be doing this. You wouldn't be here being like this. You wouldn't be. You wouldn't be like that, you know? Like, the people that are for me, especially like when I put forward my offer, I'm like, I'm not saying anything aggressive. I was just giving you love. If it like exercises something, someone like negatively responds to me being loving, I'm like, oh. You know, I'd be super loving to my mom, and she was, I mean, the demons are coming out of her, babe. She's irritated with me. She hates my guts, right? You know, but in due time, whatever. But, you know, I want you guys to know the methodology for, like, if you feel like you're even seeing something outside of yourself, somebody else, if you're not, like, again, y'all be like, I'm so this coast, that coast, but, like, some of y'all are, like, law enforcement for real. Like, some of y'all really wanted to police people for real, you know? Don't fuck with those people. Like, you don't have to go out and call anything out in someone else's personality. You don't. It's like not why you were put on this earth. You weren't here to like police somebody and tell them, you're not even here to remind someone they're ugly or to remind someone that they're a fraud. Like, you're not even here to do that. So, you know, we have to heal this like sickness, because I feel like that's what ended up, is like people look stupid. They just look stupid as fuck. And it's gonna age like fucking curdled milk in like 2 seconds. Because of what comes next. I always tell you bitches. You might have me now, but look what happens next, bitch. Just look and see what's gonna come through next. Let's see if there's anything else. Like, it's just like crazy. Yaski. It was, I just want to say this is like the last thing I'm gonna say, but the courageous like aspect of like, okay, I am now gonna go ahead and like, I'm fucking G'd up, I'm fucking lit as shit. I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm gonna say that this is a wonderful thing happening, but there is quite a bit of spiritual work that needs to be done in terms of slaying the demons, cutting all the shit out to protect it. I think that was put in place, and it really worked out. Like, it really made someone feel safe, comfortable, at home, in union, in their prophecy. And, you know, maybe I'm gonna end this with an hour 30-minute reading. You're welcome, but like, I'm really happy that I helped people connect with the prophecy of their life. Like, thank you, Alexis. You did that. You did that for June. You helped people come into union selflessly. I don't really even expect anything in return for doing that, because I don't even know who the fuck this could reach in the ether. But under these cosmos, I take a screenshot of what's happening in the sky that's coming through my vessel. I take a screenshot of the messages so that you never miss it, because some people don't even want you to get the message. Some of these fucking astrologers, they don't even make their content under the fucking astrology. They make it fucking months in advance, and they're giving you shit, you know. So I think what we do here is really unique, and I think it's really true and honest. Like, I'm gonna pull up to the fucking energetics first before I try to tell you a little too much. But yeah, it's really cool, because I think you guys like really isolated that like it was never about like right and wrong. It's a war of liars and truth tellers, and I think that's really cool to not be a liar at this point, coming into June. Because if you're just not a liar, like, you're lit. You don't gotta be perfect. You can be, you don't even gotta have friends. You don't gotta have nobody liking you. But if you don't lie, so really proud of my own strength. Just really grateful for this studio. I thank you guys just for like always just being there for me. Like, it's just been really awesome. You know, this studio just like makes me make sure that I'm there for myself before anything, and it's just really cool. So I'm really grateful. I really love everything, and yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of my day and make sure to get to you guys as much as possible. But happy July again. Really enjoy this Cancer season. It's just like really cool, actually. So great. Bye. I'm doing good. Like, I'm also good. Like, I love you guys. I'm really happy. I hope you can tell. Like, do I look different? Do I look different now? I feel different. I feel very different. I feel lighter. I hope that like maybe in the comments, do I look different? Do I look like happier? Do I look like my spirit has changed? I feel like I've gone through such a rebirth. Anyways,